Welcome back to our channel, World of Coins. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Abraham Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them because it could make you a millionaire overnight. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we have an exciting journey ahead as we dive into the fascinating world of the 1980 United States 1-cent coin. A small, unassuming piece of currency that holds a surprisingly rich history and an incredible value for those who know what to look for. Stick around as we unravel the story of this iconic coin and reveal just how much it's worth today. The year 1980 was a turning point in many ways for the United States. The country was facing a time of economic uncertainty, with inflation on the rise, and the presidential election year brought tensions to the forefront. While political figures made headlines, the United States Mint was hard at work producing coins that would go on to become collector's items. Among them was the 1981 cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny but with a story that would capture the imagination of collectors in the years to come. As with most coins, the 1981 cent was designed to represent the values and ideals of the nation. The obverse, or front, features a striking portrait of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most beloved figures in American history. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, has been featured on the penny since 1909. It's a tribute to Lincoln's leadership during the Civil War and his legacy as a symbol of freedom and unity. What makes this coin particularly interesting is its long-standing connection to the Lincoln cent. Over the years, this design has undergone subtle changes, but the portrait of Lincoln has remained a constant, reflecting the nation's deep respect for the 16th president. The words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," are engraved around his portrait, reinforcing the nation's core values of faith and freedom. Beneath Lincoln's portrait, the year of minting, 1980, marks this particular coin's place in history. Turning the coin over to the reverse side, you'll find an image that is just as iconic, the Lincoln Memorial. This magnificent structure, located in Washington, D.C., honors the legacy of President Lincoln, and its depiction on the coin has been a part of the penny since 1959. The memorial stands as a symbol of the nation's strength, unity, and the lasting impact of Lincoln's leadership. Above the memorial, you'll find the words, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, representing the union of the diverse states that make up the United States. Beneath the memorial is the phrase, 1 cent, clearly indicating the value of the coin. Now, let's talk about the minting of the 1980 penny. The United States Mint produced billions of these coins that year, with 3 major mint locations involved: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. These coins were mass-produced and circulated widely, making the 1980 penny one of the most common coins you'll find in circulation. But as we know in the world of coin collecting, rarity, condition, and certain unique features can make even the most common coins valuable over time. The 1980 penny was struck in copper-plated zinc, a material used for pennies after 1982, but the 1980 version still features a copper core. The production process was relatively straightforward, but over the years, certain factors have played a role in the coin's potential value. While most 1980 pennies you come across will likely show signs of wear and tear from years of use, there are a select few that have survived in pristine condition. Coins that have been well preserved or graded as uncirculated can hold significant value. In fact, one of the key factors that collectors look for in a 1980 penny is its condition. A coin that has not been exposed to the wear of daily transactions can be worth far more than its face value, but it's not just condition that can drive up the value of the 1980 penny. Some coins from that year have been discovered with unique features or errors that make them even more desirable to collectors. For example, certain 1980 pennies have been found with double strikes or off-center minting, which make them incredibly rare. These kinds of errors are highly sought after in the coin collecting world, as they are one-of-a-kind pieces that add an extra layer of intrigue and value. Collectors of error coins are always on the lookout for these types of anomalies, as they add a touch of rarity and uniqueness to any collection. In the case of the 1980 penny, there are several different types of errors that could increase its value, including those related to the minting process, like misaligned dies or unusual plating. The appeal of these error coins comes from their rarity and the fact that they stand out from the mass-produced coins that were made that year. Now, you may be wondering, just how much could a 1980 penny be worth? In its most common form, a well-worn penny from 1980 is worth only its face value, 1 cent. However, if you happen to have a 1980 penny in mint condition, or better yet, one with a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a goldmine. While the majority of 1980 pennies may not be worth much beyond their face value, there are a select few that have made it to the auction blocks and are fetching impressive sums. For instance, a 1980 penny in near-perfect condition could be worth hundreds of dollars. But if that coin has a rare error, such as a double die or off-center strike, it could be worth thousands of dollars. These rare variants have collectors clamoring to add them to their collections, and they can dramatically increase the value of the coin. Coins with errors are always highly sought after, as they are seen as unique pieces of history, misprints that add a fascinating story to any collection. Now, here's the big reveal you've been waiting for. If you happen to own a 1980 penny in uncirculated condition, or better yet, one with a rare minting error, it could be worth as much as $53,000. Yes, you heard that right, $53,000 for a single 1980 penny. While this may sound unbelievable, the value of rare coins continues to surprise even the most seasoned collectors. So, if you happen to come across one of these pennies in your collection or stumble upon one in circulation, be sure to examine it carefully. You might just have a valuable treasure on your hands. We hope you enjoyed learning about the fascinating world of the 1980 United States 1-cent coin. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just getting started, remember that even the most ordinary coins can have extraordinary value if you know where to look. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more exciting coin discoveries. Top 2, we're turning our attention to a coin that's often overlooked by casual collectors but has a fascinating history and an intriguing value, the United States 1-cent coin from 1981. This small, seemingly unimportant coin has a story to tell, and by the end of this video, we'll reveal just how much it could be worth. Stick with us as we explore everything you need to know about the 1981 penny. The 1981 1-cent coin, also known as the penny, comes from a period in American history that was full of challenges and transitions. The United States was dealing with significant economic struggles at the time, including inflation and high unemployment rates. The year marked a pivotal moment in the Reagan administration, as the country was beginning to pull itself out of a deep recession. During this period, the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins to meet the growing demand for currency as the economy stabilized. Among those coins was the 1981 penny, which, at first glance, may appear no different than any other penny in circulation. However, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. The design of the 1981 penny is not drastically different from other Lincoln cents that were produced in the 20th century. The obverse, or front side of the coin, features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This design, which was first created by Victor David Brenner in 1909, has been used on the penny for over a century and remains one of the most recognizable images in American numismatics. Lincoln's face, with its dignified expression, has become a symbol of the country's ideals of freedom, democracy, and unity. In addition to Lincoln's portrait, the obverse also includes the phrase, "In God We Trust," a testament to the nation's deep religious roots, as well as the word liberty and the year of minting, 1981. These engravings reflect the strong values that the United States has long held dear and remind us of the country's heritage. Turning the coin over to the reverse side, we find the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial. The memorial has been featured on the back of the penny since 1959 and is a fitting tribute to the legacy of President Lincoln. This structure, located in Washington, D.C., stands as a reminder of Lincoln's leadership during the Civil War and his role in preserving the Union. The reverse also includes the phrase, "E pluribus unum," meaning, out of many, one, a motto that symbolizes the unity of the United States as a diverse nation. Beneath the memorial, the coin proudly displays the words, 1 cent, indicating its value. While the design of the 1981 penny might not have been radically different from previous years, the minting process of that year is of particular interest to collectors. The United States Mint produced billions of these pennies in 1981, but the key to their value lies not in their mass production, but in their condition and the occasional minting error. As with any coin, the quality of the penny plays a crucial role in determining its value. Coins that were heavily circulated and show signs of wear and tear are worth only their face value. However, pennies that were kept in pristine condition or are classified as uncirculated can be worth significantly more. The 1981 penny is made of copper-plated zinc, a material that was used in U.S. pennies from 1982 onward. Prior to that, pennies were composed primarily of copper, but rising copper prices led the U.S. Mint to switch to a cheaper, copper-plated zinc composition. The 1981 penny, like its predecessors, was minted with a copper core, making it an important part of the history of American coinage. Now, here's where things get interesting for collectors. While the 1981 penny is widely circulated and easy to find, there are a number of rare varieties and minting errors that can make these coins highly valuable. One of the most sought-after varieties of the 1981 penny is the double die error, where the coin was struck twice, resulting in a doubling effect on the lettering and design. These double die errors are incredibly rare, and coins with this flaw can command a premium price in the market. Another type of error that can increase the value of a 1981 penny is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be imprinted off-center. Off-center strikes are highly desirable to collectors because they are unique and cannot be replicated. In addition to these minting errors, there are also minor variations in the design of some 1981 pennies that could make them more valuable to collectors. These variations could include subtle differences in the thickness of the lettering or the size of certain elements in the design. Collectors of error coins are always on the lookout for these anomalies, and when a 1981 penny with a double die or off-center strike surfaces, it can generate a lot of buzz in the numismatic community. These error coins are seen as one-of-a-kind pieces that add an extra layer of intrigue to any collection. The rarity of these coins is what drives their value, and it's not uncommon for error coins to fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. But here's the big question: how much is the 1981 penny worth? In its most common, circulated form, the 1981 penny is worth just 1 cent. However, if you're fortunate enough to find a well-preserved, uncirculated penny, it could be worth much more. The true value of a 1981 penny comes into play when you're looking at coins with minting errors or unique variations. Depending on the rarity of the error and the condition of the coin, the value can skyrocket. If you happen to own a 1981 penny that's in perfect condition, or better yet, one with a rare error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be sitting on a valuable treasure. As surprising as it may sound, the value of a 1981 penny with the right characteristics can reach as high as $51,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $51,000 for a single 1981 penny. While the vast majority of 1981 pennies will never fetch more than their face value, those that feature rare minting errors or have been kept in exceptional condition can command incredible prices. So, if you happen to find one of these rare pennies in your collection or come across one in circulation, take a moment to examine it closely. It could be worth a small fortune. And that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the 1981 United States 1-cent coin. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting out, always remember to keep an eye out for those rare finds. You never know when you might come across a coin that's worth far more than you'd ever expect. Top 3. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 1978 United States 1-cent coin, also known as the penny. This seemingly simple coin carries with it a wealth of history and mystery, with a story that stretches beyond its small size. While most people might overlook this humble coin, there are rare finds among these pennies that could make your collection worth far more than you think. Stick with us, and by the end of this video, you'll learn just how valuable this 1978 penny could be. The 1970s was a decade of significant change and development in the United States, and the year 1978 marked an important chapter in the country's history. The United States was in the midst of a post-Vietnam era, with political and economic shifts taking place on every front. On the economic side, inflation was a major issue, and the country was recovering from the oil crisis that had caused widespread financial instability in the 1970s. Yet, as the country worked to stabilize itself, one thing remained constant: the need for currency. The U.S. Mint was busy producing coins to meet the public's demand for cash, and the 1978 penny was no exception. The design of the 1978 1-cent coin, like many of its predecessors, featured the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This portrait, created by Victor David Brenner, has been a fixture on the penny since 1909, and it continues to be one of the most recognizable designs in the world. Lincoln, with his deep-set eyes and somber expression, has become a symbol of the country's strength, unity, and perseverance. On the obverse of the 1978 penny, you'll see Lincoln's portrait surrounded by the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year, 1978. As you take a closer look at the coin, you'll notice the graceful simplicity of its design. But it's not just the design that makes the 1978 penny interesting, it's the subtle changes that occurred in U.S. coinage around this time. In the 1970s, the U.S. Mint was transitioning the composition of its coins, especially the penny. While earlier pennies were made primarily of copper, by the 1980s, the U.S. Mint would switch to a more cost-effective copper-plated zinc. The 1978 penny, however, still had a copper core, making it an important part of the history of American currency. Turning the coin over to the reverse, we find the famous image of the Lincoln Memorial, which has graced the back of the penny since 1959. The Lincoln Memorial is one of the most iconic structures in the United States, and it serves as a fitting tribute to the president whose image appears on the front of the coin. The memorial, located in Washington, D.C., is an enduring symbol of the unity and strength of the American people, just as Lincoln himself was a symbol of perseverance and hope during one of the country's most challenging times. Beneath the memorial, you'll find the words, 1 cent, clearly marking the coin's value. But what makes the 1978 penny so interesting to collectors? While the penny was widely circulated and produced in large quantities, there are a few key factors that can make this coin highly sought after in the numismatic world. The first of these factors is the condition of the coin. While most 1978 pennies are likely to show signs of wear and damage due to years of circulation, there are a select few that have been kept in near mint or uncirculated condition. Coins that have been carefully stored and preserved over the years are worth significantly more than their face value. In fact, an uncirculated 1978 penny could fetch hundreds of dollars at auction, especially if it is graded in exceptional condition, but it's not just condition that drives the value of the 1978 penny. Another key factor that can make this coin valuable is the presence of minting errors. Just like with other coins, there are certain 1978 pennies that were struck with unique imperfections, making them more desirable to collectors. These errors can take many forms. Some 1978 pennies were struck with double die, where the image appears to be doubled, while others may have been off-center or misaligned. These minting flaws are often referred to as error coins, and they are highly prized by collectors because of their rarity and uniqueness. The appeal of error coins lies in their scarcity. These coins were not intentionally produced, and they are one-of-a-kind pieces that add an extra layer of intrigue to any collection. For example, a 1978 penny with a double die error, where the words, "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" appear to be doubled, can be worth far more than a regular penny. Similarly, off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, create an interesting anomaly that makes the coin stand out from the rest. Collectors are always on the lookout for these types of minting errors, and if you happen to have a 1978 penny with one of these flaws, you could be sitting on a valuable find. In some cases, error coins like these can fetch thousands of dollars at auction, depending on the severity of the flaw and the coin's overall condition. Now, you might be wondering, how much is a 1978 penny worth? Well, most 1978 pennies that you come across in circulation are still worth just their face value, 1 cent. However, when you factor in the coin's condition and any possible minting errors, the value can rise significantly. A 1978 penny in excellent condition, with no wear and tear, can be worth several dollars, while a coin with a rare error could be worth much more. If you happen to find an uncirculated 1978 penny in perfect condition, or even better, a 1978 penny with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth as much as $56,000, that's right, $56,000 for a single 1978 penny. This may sound unbelievable, but the world of coin collecting is filled with surprises. Coins that seem ordinary at first glance can sometimes turn out to be extraordinarily valuable. If you're a coin collector, or if you happen to have a jar of old pennies lying around, it's always worth taking the time to inspect them for rare finds. So, if you've come across a 1978 penny in your collection, or if you've stumbled upon one in circulation, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. It could be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. That wraps up our deep dive into the 1978 United States 1-cent coin. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, always remember that the value of a coin isn't determined just by its age or face value, it's all about its condition, rarity, and the stories it carries. Top 4, we have something special for you. We're diving into the story of a coin that might look simple at first glance but holds incredible value and history, the 1975 United States 1-cent coin. The 1975 penny is a perfect example of how a small piece of metal can carry decades of history, change, and hidden treasures. This coin isn't just another penny in the jar, it has a story to tell. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the 1975 penny can be worth far more than its face value. The year 1975 was a pivotal one for the United States. The country was grappling with the effects of the 1973 oil crisis, which led to rising inflation and economic instability. President Gerald Ford was in office, dealing with the fallout of the Watergate scandal and the ongoing Vietnam War's impact on the American psyche. Yet, despite these turbulent times, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing coins to meet the growing demands of the public. Among these coins was the 1975 penny, which, although small and seemingly insignificant, became a crucial part of the American economy during a challenging period. The design of the 1975 penny hasn't changed much over the years, but it's important to note the historical significance of the year. The penny still featured the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. Brenner's portrait of Lincoln, with his thoughtful expression and signature top hat, has been used on the penny since 1909, making it one of the most recognizable coin designs in the world. Around Lincoln's image, the coin bears the inscription, "In God We Trust," along with the words, "Liberty," and the year of minting, 1975. The reverse of the 1975 penny features the Lincoln Memorial, which has adorned the back of the penny since 1959. This design, also highly familiar to collectors, honors Lincoln's legacy and his leadership during the American Civil War. The Lincoln Memorial, located in Washington, D.C., stands as a monument to Lincoln's vision of unity and freedom, and its depiction on the penny serves as a constant reminder of his importance in shaping the nation. Beneath the memorial, the coin bears the inscription, 1 cent, clearly indicating the coin's value. While the design of the 1975 penny may seem ordinary, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. In the 1970s, the U.S. Mint was transitioning the composition of its coins. While the penny had traditionally been made of mostly copper, the rising cost of copper led the mint to begin experimenting with new alloys. This would eventually lead to the introduction of the copper-plated zinc penny in 1982, but in 1975, the penny was still primarily copper. The composition of these pennies would later become a key factor in their appeal to collectors, especially as the price of copper began to rise dramatically in the 2000s. But what really makes the 1975 penny special in the world of coin collecting? While most of these pennies are not worth much more than their face value, there are some rare finds out there that can make collectors do a double take. One of the most interesting things about the 1975 penny is that it was produced in large numbers, making it relatively easy to find in circulation. However, not all 1975 pennies are created equal. Some have survived in pristine condition, free from the wear and tear that usually comes with years of use. Uncirculated coins, especially those that have been carefully preserved in mint condition, are often worth far more than a typical penny. One of the most valuable characteristics of the 1975 penny, however, lies in the possibility of minting errors. Just like with other coins, the U.S. Mint occasionally produces coins with imperfections during the striking process. These errors are often the result of misaligned dies, double strikes, or other mishaps that occurred during minting. These types of errors are rare, and collectors eagerly search for them because of their rarity and potential value. For example, some 1975 pennies were struck with a double die error. This occurs when a coin is struck twice, resulting in a doubling of the lettering or design. Double die errors are one of the most sought-after types of coin errors because they are unique and cannot be replicated. If you find a 1975 penny with this kind of error, it could be worth a substantial amount more than a regular penny. Another error that collectors look for is the off-center strike, which happens when the coin is not aligned properly during the minting process. This error creates an off-center design, making the coin an even more unique and valuable find. Other errors on 1975 pennies include minor variations in the details of the Lincoln memorial or the inscription on the coin. These small anomalies, while not as striking as double dies or off-center strikes, can still increase the coin's value. Collectors are always on the lookout for any subtle differences or imperfections that might set one coin apart from another. As with all collectible coins, condition is key. A penny that has been carefully stored and kept in excellent condition will always fetch a higher price than a coin that shows obvious signs of wear. So, how much could a 1975 penny actually be worth? Well, the truth is, it depends on several factors, including its condition, whether it has any minting errors, and how rare those errors are. Most 1975 pennies in circulation are worth just their face value, 1 cent. However, if you happen to stumble upon an uncirculated 1975 penny or one with a rare minting error, you could be in for a much bigger surprise. Error coins, in particular, are highly desirable among collectors, and prices can range from a few $100s to several thousand, depending on the rarity of the error and the condition of the coin. As a collector, it's always exciting to discover that a seemingly ordinary coin can be worth much more than expected. And now, for the big reveal, the 1975 penny, with the right characteristics, could fetch an incredible price. If you have a rare 1975 penny with an error or one in uncirculated condition, you might find that your penny is worth as much as $59,000, that's right, $59,000 for a single 1975 penny. It's hard to believe that such a small coin, so often overlooked in everyday life, could be worth so much. So, if you have a collection of pennies, take the time to examine each one closely. You might have a hidden gem right under your nose, and that's it for today's deep dive into the 1975 United States 1-cent coin. Whether you're just starting out as a collector or you've been collecting for years, always remember that the true value of a coin is often hidden beneath the surface. Top 5 and last rare coin. We're embarking on a journey through history, exploring a coin that has more to it than meets the eye, the 1982 United States 1-cent coin, or the famous penny. At first glance, the 1982 penny might seem like just another coin in your change jar, but there's a lot more to this little piece of currency than most people realize. This coin, which may look similar to many others, carries with it unique stories, subtle changes, and significant value, especially for collectors. By the end of this video, you'll discover just how much this unassuming penny could be worth today. The year 1982 was a landmark year for the United States, both politically and economically. The country was recovering from the early stages of the 1980s recession, which had been triggered by a variety of factors including high inflation and rising unemployment. President Ronald Reagan had just taken office, ushering in a new era of conservative policies aimed at stabilizing the economy. It was also a year of change for the U.S. Mint, as the United States government faced rising costs for the materials used to produce its coins, particularly the penny. For years, pennies had been made primarily of copper, but with the rising cost of copper in the late 1970s and early 1980s, the U.S. Mint had to find a way to keep production costs low while still maintaining the integrity of its currency. This led to a significant shift in the composition of the penny in 1982. The U.S. Mint made the decision to reduce the amount of copper in the penny and began using a copper-plated zinc alloy instead. This change marked the beginning of a new era for U.S. coinage and would continue for decades to come. Now, let's take a look at the design of the 1982 penny. Like most pennies, the obverse features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This iconic design, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, has adorned the penny since 1909, making it one of the most enduring symbols in American numismatics. On the 1982 penny, Lincoln's portrait remains as dignified as ever, surrounded by the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and "1982." What makes the 1982 penny particularly interesting is the subtle change in its composition. While the earlier copper pennies had a rich, reddish-brown appearance, the new copper-plated zinc pennies were much lighter in color. The shift in material was not just a cosmetic change, it was a significant move designed to save the government money. However, this change also had a profound impact on the value and appeal of the penny, especially among collectors. Turning the coin over to the reverse side, we find the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial, which has been featured on the back of the penny since 1959. This image, designed by Frank Gasparo, depicts the memorial in all its grandeur, with Lincoln's seated statue visible through the columns. Beneath the memorial, the coin bears the inscription, 1 cent, indicating the coin's value. This timeless design has been one of the most iconic reverse images on U.S. coinage, and it serves as a fitting tribute to one of America's greatest presidents. However, the 1982 penny's appeal goes beyond just its design. What really sets this coin apart is the year it was minted. The transition from a copper-based penny to the copper-plated zinc penny was a major change, and collectors were quick to take note. This shift meant that there were two different types of 1982 pennies, one made primarily of copper and another made primarily of zinc. The differences between these two types are subtle, but they are critical for collectors. Identifying which composition your 1982 penny is made of can have a significant impact on its value. In fact, one of the most interesting aspects of the 1982 penny is its variety. There are 4 distinct types of 1982 pennies, based on both the composition and the minting process. The first 2 types are the copper-based pennies that were minted early in the year before the composition change was fully implemented. These early copper pennies are highly sought after by collectors because of their rarity. As the year went on, the U.S. Mint began producing pennies made of the new copper-plated zinc alloy, resulting in 2 more types of 1982 pennies, one made with the new material and one struck with a different process known as bronze. Each of these 4 types of 1982 pennies has its own unique characteristics and is valued differently by collectors. In terms of minting errors, the 1982 penny is particularly interesting as well. As with any coin, mistakes can happen during the minting process, and the 1982 penny was no exception. Some of the 1982 pennies were struck with misaligned dies or other defects, making them even more valuable to collectors. These errors can include off-center strikes, double strikes, or other anomalies that make a coin stand out from the rest. Coins with these kinds of defects are considered error coins, and are highly prized in the numismatic world. The appeal of the 1982 penny to collectors is undeniable, but the question remains, just how much is this penny worth? Well, the value of a 1982 penny can vary greatly depending on its composition, condition, and any potential minting errors. A regular copper-based 1982 penny in good condition is worth a few dollars, while a copper-plated zinc penny is generally worth just its face value, 1 cent. However, when you start to factor in the rare and highly sought-after coins, the value can skyrocket. For example, a 1982 copper penny in mint condition or with an error could fetch several $100s at auction, while an error coin with a unique flaw could be worth even more. A coin that has been well preserved, has no visible wear, and possibly has a rare minting error could be worth a significant amount to collectors looking to add something special to their collections. And now for the big reveal, the current value of the 1982 penny can be astonishing. If you have a rare 1982 copper penny in uncirculated condition, or better yet, one with a minting error that has been carefully preserved, it could be worth as much as $49,000, yes, that's right, $49,000 for a single 1982 penny. The value of these coins is all about rarity, condition, and the unique qualities that make them stand out from the rest. If you happen to have a 1982 penny in your collection, it's definitely worth taking a second look, especially if it appears to be in pristine condition or has any unusual characteristics. So, the next time you come across a 1982 penny, take a moment to examine it closely. It might just be more valuable than you think. That's all for today's deep dive into the 1982 United States 1-cent coin. Whether you're an experienced collector or just starting out, remember that there's always more to a coin than its face value. Thanks for joining us, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future coin discoveries. Happy collecting!